What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
And we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
Hello, I'm Nyambura Waringe. I'm a visual arts curator. We're here in Nairobi, the capital of my country, Kenya. Nairobi, with an estimated population of over 5 million people, is an energetic place.
Oh, yeah.
It is also one of Africa's fastest growing cities. In just over a century, Nairobi has transformed from a modest railway depot to vibrant metropolis, an economic and cultural hub in East Africa. Away from the busy streets, the city boasts lush highland terrain and the savannah that houses our famous wildlife parks. In stark contrast to those natural wonders is Myrie, one of the largest informal settlements in sub-Saharan Africa, home to almost 500,000 people. In the late 1800s, Kenya was known as British East Africa, and the traces of this colonial past are all over Nairobi. Kenya became independent from Britain in 1963. These days, Nairobi has a cutting-edge contemporary art scene that sits side by side with more traditional creative legacies. All of this makes Nairobi an exciting cultural destination that reflects a rich past. My country has an ancient history of trade with other Indian Ocean cultures. And so, we are a multicultural nation with competing viewpoints.
That looks like art.
It's leaning.
Art. The one with the hands.
And now I'm going to show you some amazing Nairobi artists. Let's go. Coming up in this episode of DW's Art See Africa, we meet Myrie Kimani, a multimedia artist who creates masks to reveal the masks imposed by society.
Deep.
Then we meet Cyrus Kabiru, who makes visual magic from found materials.
That's hard.
Beatrice Wanjiko takes us into her studio to reveal her powerful paintings. Kenya's strong mothers who resisted oppression are the inspiration for Sewia Kiambi's works. And we'll see how social commentary drives Peterson Kamwathi's drawings.
Ready for it?
Finally, we'll wrap it up with a ride in a visually unique set of wheels.
Can't talk about the art scene without mentioning that.
My first stop on my DW Art See Africa journey is to the housing estate of Buruburu that was established in Nairobi in the 1970s. It is the home of the Brush 2 Art Collective. Myrie Kimani is a young artist who is creating new masks to challenge the masks that society imposes on us.
Hi.
Hey, how are you? How's it going?
Yeah, fun.
Good to see you. Being the lady behind the masks, transience is a very important theme in your work.
Yeah, in my work, I use masks to unmask. Like, I like the idea of using the mask to actually invoke a certain state of mind or a state of being.
Yeah.
You know, I use feathers, I use dried plants, you know, dead flowers. And with that, I try to show that, you know, death is actually, it's the foundation of life itself. Because like when you see leaves fall down, yes, they're dead leaves, but in a few months, that's soil and growth.
A rebirth.
So I feel like what she's trying to say is that though she used things around her area to help, manifest the mass that she wants, it's just a resemblance of a leaf falling down and it's adding value to the ground, which is the soil and the other insects that may eat from it. So I think that's where we're going with that conversation.
I don't know. At first I thought it was going to be like political statements, but okay. It's like a rebirth of life.
Yeah, like this one. This one is giving kid like.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. See the hot one?
There's a sense of found objects that is a part of your work.
Yeah, the wire I liked because I could easily manipulate it with my hands without tools, and I started that before I could afford tools. And I like the mesh because of the whole sense of interconnectedness and how nothing is actually separate from another thing, no matter how it looks like it is.
Right.
That's a bar.
Okay.
Just finding things and repurposing them, giving them like another life, is what I enjoy.
I like that.
I lived at the edge of the Nairobi National Park for 4 years. Being in such a space gave me so many aspects of what it means to be truly in nature.
I've always admired Moira's work and want to give it a go myself, but don't think I can manage something so complex. So maybe this is the easiest way to begin?
Blue. You're always blue? I'm always blue.
I just cut it?
Yeah, just for now, just give it a brief one. Because they're not going to a bin. They're not going to a bin.
Next, our DW Artsy Africa journey leads us to the east of Nairobi, to the area called Kariguni. This is where we find the intriguing workshop of Cyrus Kabiru. He creates his artworks out of discarded objects. He makes his own kinds of unique radios and sound systems.
That's good.
Bicycles, and exotic eyewear.
No, that's
to
good.
make art out of a bicycle. Y'all saw what you call it? It's been a long time. The wheel.
It's spinning wheel. The pedal.
Yeah, that was included. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready to hear what he has to say. All ears.
Yeah. So I feel like his artwork definitely fits in the genre of where people are going to purchase it and they'll use it. For instance, we saw one where they use a bottle as a chandelier, but they used a whole bunch of bottles and they created it right. They made chandeliers out of it. So I feel like his art is like. It's going to age well because no matter where you put it, it's going to have its own value. It's going to really look good in the spot, you know?
Right, things you can put on the wall.
Yeah, for real.
Make my house feel like a museum. Okay, thank you.
I feel that.
I grew up in Nairobi on a slum called Korogocho. We were surrounded by the dump sites. So, yeah, I get inspired by the trash. I love using wastes. I love using wires. I love using metal. I love using plastic. When I see these, I don't see trash. For me, I see an amazing artwork.
Real visionary.
For you to make something like this, you must think outside the box.
Cyrus is also inspired by Kenya's roads, where motorcycles have replaced the old black bicycles that were once popular here. Their nickname, Black Mamba, refers to the black mamba snake that is commonly found in sub-Saharan Africa.
So I decided to get the old black mamba and redo them and make them more artistic. I call them the end of Black Mamba. I participated in the Armory. It's an art fair in States. When I travel, I always have an empty suitcase that I will carry trash from a certain country. So you'll get an eyewear with beads from India, metal from Switzerland. you won't even recognize whether it's an African, Chinese, Asian, or European and all
That's
that.
nice. I like that one.
I like the second
I've
to last
traveled
one.
more, even I think more than 40 countries. Big exhibitions with museums. I have like 10 museums with my work. The most recent is the Met Museum, which is a big step as an artist, especially from Africa.
Cyrus made it in the art world without any artistic training in school.
Yeah.
That's good. I love that. His art reminds me of like the 70s, the 80s, even the 50s, 60s. Like it reminds me of that era, and we love black art. Like in our home, that's what we have, black art. Sorry.
You okay? Did you get it? Did it hurt you? Did that cough hurt you?
And in our home, that's what we have, black art. That's what we collect. This, it instantly make me think of my grandfather's house. Like, he was a collector of art, you know, like different types of art. If you go to his house, baby, he was giving you something to take home. Something random. Okay.
Yeah.
Like one time he gave us a skull. It was art, but what am I doing with a skull? You know, so just seeing this, that's what it makes me think of, because art is supposed to imitate life, and I'm thinking of my grandfather. That's what art is supposed to do.
If art is not knocking on your heart to bring up a memory of yours, then it's not doing something. You're not seeing it the way you need to see it. And I feel like his art definitely is one of those ones where you can walk in and just, you know, admire.
Right.
Because there's just so many different layers to it. Like the pieces that he's picking, the locations that he's getting it from. It's like, it's all good stuff together.
In Kenya, we don't have art in school. So we don't have that art culture.
Oh, really?
We still have that problem of associating creativity with voodoos. They even told my mom she need to be careful with me because I'm a bit weird.
Despite the initial skepticism of his neighbors, Cyrus's artistic career continues to grow from strength to strength. And next, he will be exhibiting in at least 4 countries.
That's great.
I look forward.
Did y'all hear the storyline though? The transition between how people thought of him and where his art actually took him. Sometimes you just got to keep going. Yeah. No matter what they're saying.
No matter what, consistency will always win in all things.
Facts.
To hearing more about his future travels.
We'll talk next time.
Okay.
Get back to work. You kicked us out, bro. Oh man, got kicked out.
Leaving Cyrus, we move to the older suburb of Ngong.
Ngong, okay. I don't know how you pronounce it. Ngong.
Our journey now takes us to a painter whose work I find haunting. Beatrice Wanjiko. To her, form is central, peeling away at the very layers of our physical bodies. She captures our sinew and flesh. Your work really concentrates and looks at body, stripping away so many layers. We get to see the insides, we get to the flesh, the bone, the muscle. How does your process lead you there?
This body of work came from a series I was looking at the concept of the womb. And so for me, the womb for me becomes a reference to a new beginning, transitions, rebirth.
I'm really interested about how you develop this X-ray quality to your work.
I think for me that I attribute to brushwork. Especially in this body of work, I've been using acrylics because they allow me to kind of layer. There's so much buildup of color to what you're actually seeing here. It's very liquid. You want the potency of the red to feel almost like real blood. But I'm not looking to kind of create work that looks like realism.
Yeah.
All my work is kind of that deconstruct of how, as a woman, I operate within a very male-dominated background.
Beatrice disagrees with interpretations of her paintings as brooding or pessimistic.
For example, like this particular painting, the background is just sing blues. And then you see that a form is emerging, because that is what the womb is. It's like this dark space that is devoid of light, but life is forming. So for me, it's the idea of hope. And I know it's a kind of utopia kind of thinking, given the times that we're living in, but that's what I want my work to be about.
Yeah, her artwork definitely forces your hand. It's not just straightforward type of image. You have to look at it, and it speaks to you, and it tells you what it is that you need to relate to it about, however that may go. I liked it. Like, I saw her, the image that the photo was just looking at, I saw like a face, but at the same time, I saw like a shape of a body.
I saw the face too.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I didn't know which way to go with it because I don't got enough time to sit and just look. But
yeah, it probably wasn't the face. She did say it was the womb.
The womb. I thought that's
so what you were seeing was the inside of the woman. But
because you farm, you know what I'm saying? Like how she was breaking it down.
Yeah, but what's weird to somebody isn't to a lot of people. You know, and I instantly it pushed me to being in college. You know, when I had this art professor, you know, I took art as an elective. I'm a super artistic person, but my art form is words, right? And he would be explaining these paintings to me, and it would be so deep because, you know, at that time I didn't really appreciate art like I do now. Yeah. You know, like now we go to these art museums, and us and our children will just stare at the paintings and try to understand what's going on, the littlest details now, right? But back then, baby, I'll be looking at this man like, oh, that's what you see. Man, I see a spoon.
Art is deep. You was hungry probably.
Yes.
Sitting in class all day, ready to go. That's how it be. But excuse me, y'all. Oof, Lord, I'm coughing. But at the end of the day, that's what her art does. It really pulls you. You know what I'm saying? It makes you want to inform something mentally, so you can kind of put a picture to it, and then you can't stop saying that's not what I want to see, because once you see it, it's there. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beauty of that type of art style.
Yeah, there's a whole audience for her art.
Exactly. And you got to push towards that. That's a good mention. I know we be drawing it out, but you got to push towards that, because there's always a split between a person who likes what you're doing and a person who just don't like what you're doing. The guy made his art pop up in different museums across the world. Right. Because he kept going. Right. Had he listened?
What people thought was scraps.
Have he listened to what people thought? He was like, yeah, I'm going to just stop that right. This is some crazy stuff. But
keep going.
Keep going.
It's an act of regeneration, of renewal, of new beginnings. Yes. I leave Beatrice feeling that I've stepped into a powerful and intimate female world.
Very powerful.
That was good stuff right there. Supposed to.
Moving into the savannah, our DW Artsy Africa journey takes us to the outskirts of the Nairobi National Park. Here, we're going to meet another powerful female creator. This is Siawia Kiambi. She's a multimedia performance artist. Her work is challenging and layered.
I've been doing performance work for a long time now, since 2002-03.
Siawia has created a masked performance avatar called Kaspala. Who is Kaspala?
Kaspala is a trickster character
Sound like
that
a trickster.
I created to intervene inside of spaces that are hard to hear about or hard to talk about. And it started with colonial space, which had to do with the Mark Museum. And this space in the Mark Museum, it's a lecture room actually that's being used to teach. And it was this space where ethnography was taught and race classification was first taught.
Wow. So what are these images?
They're basically stills from a sketch performance that I did inside of this lecture room. And I was playing around with Kaspala as a body form and gestures, movements that became like intuitive, that are now part of the Kaspala's character. Very cheeky, very trickstery, playful, but then you're also never quite sure what they're going to do next. And this mask is inspired by a Makonde mask, which is part of their collection.
You know what I thought of?
What's that?
The series, dang it, I keep forgetting the name of this series. Them. What you gonna do? That man.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yes, to represent the man's thoughts. I forgot his name, but I just
that's
love
exactly what that
art.
is. Yeah, that gives that. Wow, that's a good comparison.
I just love performance art. I hope y'all know what I'm talking about. It's on Netflix.
It's a movie. No, it's a series.
Yeah, it's a series. They have 2 seasons. Really, really good if y'all want to know a little bit more of African American history in horror form. So, I love performance art.
Along with being inspired by masks from the Makonde culture in the Mark Museum collection, Syowia's Kasperle is inspired by a German children's puppet character who is also called Kasperle. And this trickster puppet has its origins in the 18th century. In Nairobi, Syowia performs Kasperle, inserting them into videos and images from painful moments in our recent Kenyan past.
That's a good way to teach it, though.
So when you talk about Kasperle injecting themselves into spaces and stories that are hard to tell, we have two stories that have been very hard to tell for our country.
Yeah.
And that is the 1992 mothers' protest, and also right next to it in that park is Nyayo House and the history of Nyayo House. Nyayo House is an administrative building in Nairobi, completed in 1983. The building was commissioned by the late President Daniel Arap Moi. Nyayo House is situated right next to Uhuru Public Park. What makes this place unique is that its basement was especially designed to house torture chambers. These images, taken by the Human Rights Commission, show some of the horrendous rooms in which political dissidents were tortured. In 1992, a group of mothers gathered in Uhuru Park to protest their sons being detained in Nyayo House. The mothers' protest inspired Syowia to create an artwork featuring Kasperle.
In the performance that I do, Kasperle comes to Nyayo House, and the puppet breaks Nyayo House and is twisting, and Kasperle fixes the puppet, and then Kasperle changes, and I commemorate the mother's protest also by stripping out of Kasperle. The background footage changes from Nyayo House and Kasperle into the protests and this park, and I strip and wash the ochre from my hands. And Kasperle's playground is in remembrance of this protest and to honor these mothers. This act of mothers stripping is a very powerful protest act. It's actually when the police walked away.
Yes.
And it's actually when their sons were released, all but one.
That's really powerful work with Kasperle and how you've inserted them into all of that. Thank you for giving us this wonderful story about Kasperle.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All but one.
What I appreciate about Syowia Kiambi's work is how it reflects Kenya's struggles with its past. The shows I curate offer a perspective on the complex identities that Kenyans are embracing. Together with curator Don Handa, I created a show called Found Footage. I would love to show you one of my first exhibitions, Found Footage. Found Footage looks at two photographers, one Kenyan, one Iranian German. The Found Footage show featured the work of Mahdi Sae, who documented Afro-Iranian communities through photographs. The Found Footage exhibition also profiled the work of Nairobi photographer Migwen Thiga, who captures coastal Kenyan communities. By featuring these two photographers, this exhibition explored questions around the identities of Africans in Indian Ocean communities. In this exhibition in Found Footage, I really looked at also getting archival footage. And this also is set up so that people interact. One of the goals of being a curator for me is how does the public engage with the work? How do they live and leave the space engaged, enlightened, and with new visions? Another exhibition I'd love to tell you about is 27. And I was brought in as a curator to catalyze a discussion around not only gay and lesbian human rights, but the rights of freedom in our country. Section 27 of the Kenyan Constitution speaks of the right to equal protection before the law. And with this exhibition, I explored how this applies to the LGBTQI+ community who are criminalized in Kenya. My next big show was Norma XR, which showcased 6 artists working with virtual reality experiences. The XR experience Norma brought everything together for me as a curator. How I wanted to engage with the public deeply over different types of technologies. More importantly, Norma was experimentation. So there you have it. I've introduced you to some of my favorite children. How about you come and join me for more art? Moving west.
So far, what I love about all of this is that their art definitely has a huge connection with something that is very dear to them. Yeah. And for the majority, it's history. Right. And I think that's just so important because when you have an image and you're painting and you're showcasing it, the children get to see it in a way that has probably never been displayed before. More imaginable, more artistic, more digestible. You know what I'm saying? It's art. You know?
This is the way that they are preserving their culture, and they're further telling their story. Yeah. You know, because if it isn't taught in school or at home, they can go out in the community and engage with these works of art and learn something about their history.
100%. Yeah.
Our next stop is a much-loved place in Nairobi, the Go Down Community Arts Center. And now I'm going to Peterson Kamwadi's studio. He's one of our foremost contemporary artists in Nairobi. I love his work because it provocatively asks questions about the politics of our day. Peterson's work deals with ideas of society, humanity, and community. Through his work, he examines the idea of policed and militarized forms of control. And another reason to love Peterson, he enables a lot of young artists in this space.
It's always good.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi,
how's it going?
All right.
I can't wait.
Good to see you.
Take us through this wonderful world of yours.
All right.
Thank you very much. Peterson's media are primarily drawing and printmaking. You know, Peterson, I'm always enthralled of your work. So I just wanted you to talk a little bit more about the studies that you have here, just to get us into your process and how you use the materials and how you choose them.
So the human form is one of the principal subjects I work with. Very almost like simplified postures of the standing human form. There's an aspect of human posture that is highly codified. So in a way, we have, I think in the way we communicate, we've subscribed certain postures become emblematic of much more than just what you're looking at. So the human posture is coded.
Yes.
You know, and I think there's a lot that we can actually extract from just looking at, the human person in that particular shape, form, or contortion.
Yes. Yeah. I love that word, contortion.
Yeah.
During the first hard lockdown of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 in Nairobi, Peterson observed men standing in line with their children as they queued for financial support.
Come on, man.
And he noticed the regimented way in which they had to stand as they complied with authority. The effects of social structures of control on human bodies has captivated him.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Another of Peterson's drawings, about people struggling with the burden of life.
This particular position that human form will find itself in is actually an indicator of transition, moving out of a place of great trauma or major difficulties.
I'm also drawn to a charcoal sketch that Peterson has done based on a live drawing session.
Charcoal as a medium, which I've worked with for many, many years, and pastel tends to kind of give this gravity to the work.
I asked Peterson if he can show me how to make a monotype print.
Monoprint. So
Monotype monoprint. Okay.
Well, monoprint. So it is that you create an image using the brush or rollers or scratching into the inks, and then we run it through a press. Yeah.
Like that?
Good.
I hope I can do this.
I agree Rembrandt started from somewhere.
He must have. Is it like playing on like light and shadow now?
Yes, but I mean very rudimentary.
Rudimentary.
Very. No, there. Have a go. Oh, you can.
Wow!
You have a monoprint.
I have a monoprint. I shall sign it.
The kids love stuff like that.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Outside Peterson's studio, a piece of art on wheels is pulling up.
Hard.
This is a different kind of black mamba. This
And they keep getting
matatu,
better,
a
man.
minibus used for public transport, was designed and painted by an artist called Mose. He also goes by the name of Lithium. How did you come up with all those different art pieces to put on this?
Actually, I say that Mamba is me. It's the way my brain works, as in everything which is clashing inside there. So evil genius is like, I am the genius. I am the art genius. So this is what is cooking in my laboratory. This is a mad chemist.
Yeah, man, you gotta own your art, bro. It's like we may be representing so much in history and whatnot when we do it, but it's birthed out of us.
Yes.
We are the representation. I like that he's just owning it, bro. He's like, this is me. Like everything you see came out of me.
Yes, and a little piece of us as artists goes into all of our work,
regardless
regardless of what it is.
Facts.
Yes, so this is his lab, this is the cabin. This is where the driver controls the music, puts on the TVs, lights, and all that. If you're a fan of Matatu culture, you'll find yourself in this Matatu. So would you like to experience it?
Oh, that would be great. And this brings us to the end of DW's Artsy Africa in Nairobi, the vibrant East African capital. What a rich journey it has been for me, and I hope the same for you. So, Kwaheri.
All right, yeah, we're gonna separate that. Make sure you guys check the channel out. Yeah, I didn't doubt this video at all. Knowing where she was, I knew the art was about to be vibrant.
Definitely. Definitely. All right, y'all. We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.